Hello and welcome to Creative Criteria with your host Mutazora, or Miu/Zora for short, where I discuss modern animated shows and put them against a general criteria that I've discovered and discuss how well I achieved that. A small disclaimer before we start: this is a general criteria and it isn't set in stone. If there's something you look for in an animated show, then feel free to comment your opinion in the comments, or you can get in touch with me on my social media, such as my Reddit with my username Mutazora. In today's episode, I'm going to cover a different type of show, a more childish one, but it's still one for all ages to enjoy. The show is named Bluey. It follows the main character named, Bluey, and her dog-themed family. It's an episodic show, which means each 5-minute episode has a short plot. The story of Bluey may be simple, however, the themes the show explores can be darker than most kids' shows. It doesn't talk down to its child audience and replicates the problems that they can experience while growing up in an easy-to-understand way. Being told from a child's point of view, it's able to connect easier with the child audience. Another good thing about Bluey is that these more mature themes, but still light-hearted fun, can attract a more grown-up audience, especially parents who have kids of their own, able to relate to the episodes and possibly learn a few tricks for parenting style along the way. The characters are the driving force of the show, and each have an endearing personality. Bluey is, of course, childish, but she acts like how the target audience would. She represents children watching, and the wonder the world appears like when they're that age, turning mundane life situations into a game. Bingo is her little sister. She's there to teach those watching lessons. With her interactions with Bluey, the two sometimes fight, like normal siblings tend to do, and then get reprimanded for it. Bandit is the dad of the family, and he's the main point of humour. He's a fun dad who joins in on his kids' games, often being the one who gets the short end of the stick with his children's make-believe fantasies. And finally, Chili is their mother, who also joins in on the games. However, she plays a more serious role for the kids and is usually the one to teach them life lessons, or put a stop to them whenever the situation gets out of hand. Each character represents a typical family dynamic through the eyes of Bluey. Anyone in the audience watching is able to attach themselves onto the characters they're most like. The animation of Bluey. It has a very interesting and unique style. The best way I can describe it is a blocky style. The character is built of basic shapes, but still maintain their dog-like appearance. There isn't much shading and only basic shadows in the background, but the show doesn't need to have anything fancy. The simple colours adding a certain charm to the show, and the few movements when the animation does gain a lot of shading, fluid movements, and lighting are made even better and more eye-catching compared to the usual colour scheme. Yet again, Bluey manages to use simplicity to its advantage. Bluey uses simple music in the background. It isn't anything fancy or big like a musical, but it doesn't have to be. It's a light-hearted show that people can switch off their minds to and just sit down and enjoy it. The music being simple helps to create this feeling of unwinding. This is something Bluey honestly does amazingly. Simplicity, but not in a boring or lazy way. Just enough for the children to enjoy and keep entertained by, but also enough for the grown-up viewers to also remain engaged instead of bored like some shows targeted at children tends to do. It doesn't dumb it down for anyone just because it's a kids show. Which leads me on to the animation of Bluey. It has a very interesting and unique style. The best way I can describe it is a blocky style. The character is built of basic shapes, but still maintain their dog-like appearance. There isn't much shading and only basic shadows in the background, but the show doesn't need to have anything fancy. The simple colours adding a certain charm to the show, and the few movements when the animation does gain a lot of shading, fluid movements, and lighting are made even better and more eye-catching compared to the usual colour scheme. Yet again, Bluey manages to use simplicity to its advantage. And the comedy. Bluey follows a comedic technique of visual humor and misfortune. In every episode, the personality is bursting through, and the comedy continues to add to the life by trying to reverse expectations at times. It also uses the character Bandit and his misfortune for jokes. And they don't feel too mean-spirited or cruel because it's clear he's doing this all for his kids. The humor is also short and snappy. Being only 5-minute episodes, they can't dwell on a joke for too long, which is a positive because it avoids the trap of a lot of shows fall into, which is lingering on a joke for too long or running it into the ground, which Bluey tries its hardest to avoid and succeeds in doing so. Overall, Bluey is a good time show for any age group. Even though the main target audience is children, that doesn't mean adults can't enjoy it, and a lot of them do. My family especially. Sometimes we like to sit down and watch the show. It's definitely one I recommend families to watch, and point out how many episodes or scenarios relate to them. There's 154 episodes currently out, and as stated, they are very short, so it's an easy binge watch for anyone interested. I thoroughly recommend checking out Bluey. Even just a few episodes. I'm sure there'll be at least one that you can also relate to, either with your current family or a moment of your childhood. If you're wondering what shows are out there that you could recommend to children, then Bluey is that show. Despite being a kids show, I hope you can give it a watch and form your own opinions on it. Join me for the next episode, where I'll cover the reboot of a classic 90s show, DuckTales. I promise you that you'll enjoy that one just as much as the original. Bluey follows a comedic technique of visual humor and misfortune. In every episode, the personality is bursting through, and the comedy continues to add to the life by trying to reverse expectations at times. It also uses the character Bandit and his misfortune for jokes. And they don't feel too mean-spirited or cruel because it's clear he's doing this all for his kids. The humor is also short and snappy. Being only 5-minute episodes, they can't dwell on a joke for too long, which is a positive because it avoids the trap of a lot of shows fall into, which is lingering on a joke for too long or running it into the ground, which Bluey tries its hardest to avoid and succeeds in doing so. Overall, Bluey is a good time show for any age group. Even though the main target audience is children, that doesn't mean adults can't enjoy it, and a lot of them do. My family especially. Sometimes we like to sit down and watch the show. It's definitely one I recommend families to watch, and point out how many episodes or scenarios relate to them. There's 154 episodes currently out, and as stated, they are very short, so it's an easy binge watch for anyone interested. I thoroughly recommend checking out Bluey. Even just a few episodes. I'm sure there'll be at least one that you can also relate to, either with your current family or a moment of your childhood. If you're wondering what shows are out there that you could recommend to children, then Bluey is that show. Despite being a kids show, I hope you can give it a watch and form your own opinions on it. Join me for the next episode, where I'll cover the reboot of a classic 90s show, DuckTales. I promise you that you'll enjoy that one just as much as the original.